What is up, guys? I am Joseph. This is Joseph's Place, and welcome to the first of a possible series that I will start. I say possible all the time because I have been so inconsistent in the past. I don't want to make promises that I can't keep. Let me turn that down just a little bit. I am live recording this, which is not something I normally do, so I apologize if some things are off. But I did just kind of want to introduce the video like this and kind of talk about what I'd like to do in this series. Now, the series is titled Highway to Hell. It's kind of play on words for Road to Inferno because I don't want to be just a sheep following what everyone's going to call their series. So I want to take a little bit of a different route, and this video will kind of consist of me getting the skills and items required to do the Inferno. Now, that's kind of the reason in general that I came back to the game, just because the idea of the Inferno kind of interested me, and I just kind of want to shoot for it, and doing that really encapsulates a lot of what I like to do in this game, and gives me some goals that I didn't have before, or reasons to do something like combat where I didn't have a desire to do that before. Now I kind of do, so I want to play off of that. So the way this series will work is similar to how I've run series in the past, but with a little bit more structure to it. And what I mean by that is I am going to do what I've done previously and ask people what they want to see and then do that for the upcoming video. But I'm going to do it a little more structured in that I will be putting a straw poll link in the description of each video, and each of the options will go in one of 3 directions. And now I want to kind of give each video its own theme, and that's where the directions kind of come into play. The first being kind of just straight out progression, and this will kind of, and I'll get into my goals in just a little bit, but this will be strictly based on combat goals. So anything that's related to combat, that will be more of just the straight progression. One of the other paths will be money making, because I will need a decent amount of money to even give an attempt. So that will be an option for an upcoming video. And then the other one will be more of a distractions. So if I'm just tired of progressing and I need a break, that third option will be for that. Of course, it will be voted on, so even if I'm tired of it, if it doesn't get voted on, it doesn't matter. But I will have kind of just one of those 3 themes, and then there'll be a 4th one, which in general is just going to be kind of a repeat of what the video is. So for example, this is going to be 100 Barrows chests. If you guys want to see that again, that will be option number 4. And this is money making, by the way. It looks like I have in a rims tunnel. But the goal, again, of this series is just to get the stats and items required to at least give an Inferno an attempt. Now, the goals for what I'm going for are pretty straightforward. For combat stats, I would like 90 to 95 for the melees, and then 99 range and mage. So that's kind of the baseline that I'm going for before I even give Inferno an attempt. Gold-wise, I'm looking at the 100 to 150 mil build. So that's not super out of the question to be able to complete it with that, and it's not super out of the question for me to get that money. So that's kind of what I'm going for monetarily. And then in addition to that, there are some things that I'd like to do just in terms of, let me get this going. There are some things I'd like to do aside from just those strict goals, just in terms of progression of my account. So those will be kind of secondary goals, but again, those will be more of the distractions. So that's really how I want to set up this series, and each video will be a completion of a goal. So for example, this upcoming video, the next one, will be just straight up progression. So when I get tired of training the stats that I will be training, and you'll see what those are in the next video, I'll basically just end the video there and then pick up with another video with the next topic or with the next theme. So that is kind of an introduction to this series. Now let's get into this actual video. Now I did have a little bit of time to explain because I am doing a Barrows run, and that's kind of what I've been doing for a while, and I'm going the wrong way, but I'll kill a skeleton anyway. This is kind of my first goal. I kind of set this up in my head that if I can finish this, I can at least continue a series for a little while. So the goal with this was just kind of 100 Barrows chests, and I'll get into loot once I finish this one. This is about the 100th chest. I didn't really have a counter. I don't remember what I started at. It was between 30 and 40 chests, and this will be my 130th chest. So it's about 100, and I'm just ready to move on. And since I wasn't really paying attention at the beginning, I think it's about time. So let me get set up for our rims here when he spawns. So again, this was my first goal, and this again would be geared towards money making, and I'll show you guys the loot in a bit. But I enjoy Barrows, which is why I started with it. It's something that I've always enjoyed doing. and it's a decent moneymaker from what you'll see in just a few minutes, and I've gotten pretty good at it. This run may have been a little bit longer, but in general, I've gotten my runs down to about 4 minutes 30 seconds, which I think is pretty good, especially if you know me and PVM, you know that it doesn't come naturally, and I'm not super great at it. So being able to get it down to that time with the stats I have, and just so you know, I'll leave those stats up, to me is kind of an accomplishment, so it gives me a little bit motivation to get going. Now, I did have quite a bit of a dry streak, and I'll talk about this when I show you guys the items I got. So I was actually, that was kind of the original motivator. If I didn't even like get good items, I probably would have just given up in the first place. But I withstood a 70 chest dry streak, and I'll show you guys the rewards of my patience in just a moment. But it was very solid. So let's get at this in here. Now, rune-wise, let me just go through this real quick. My setup. So I used Trident of the Swamp. I think in the future I just use Trident of the Seas because I don't know if it helped me that much. Again, in the future I'll have a higher magic level, but Trident of the Swamp, and I charged that with the runes that I got from the chests. So the rune count is lower than it should be, but it was because I used that to charge that. And then again, I used a occult necklace and a book of balance just because I didn't feel like paying for the extra, whatever the ancient book is, for the extra 4 magic damage. It really wouldn't have made a huge difference. So that was my main setup for most of the bosses. For Rims, again, I used Blowpipe Fury. And then for the skeletons, because I would kill 3 skeletons plus the brothers, Salve, and then Melee, Whip, and Dragon Defender. So pretty cheap setup in general. Nothing too expensive, and I was able to get my runs down to about 430, so I'd say that's pretty good. So let's get all this in the bank. I'm not going to care about organization for right now, and let's get into the loot tab. Now, this loot tab, I cleared it out before I started, so most of this is either from just some random Slayer or Barrows and the clues I've got from Barrows. So as you can see, just at a quick glance, some really good items. 2 Darks plate bodies, a Guthan's spear, a Guthan's plate body, and then a rim staff were the items that I got. So 5 items total in 100 chests, about 1 every 20, a little under average, but overall not terrible. And considering I had a 70 dry streak in there, some of those were pretty good. I actually got the plate body and staff back to back. First time I've got a back-to-back item at Barrows, so that was pretty exciting. So let me just grab the rest of it. I'm going to keep the ancient page just because I'm going to use it eventually. And let me just get the rest of these items. I had 3, I think, 2 or 3 elite clue scrolls in the time that I had these chests. 2. I've completed 2, and I actually have 1 that I'm going to save for a master clue. So I had 2 clue scroll completions with that. So not too great rewards from that. I really got absolute shit from them, to be honest. But it was profit, so I'm going to include it in this. And that was all. This is all I've gotten from these trips. So let's empty out this rune pouch and let's do a quick price check. And actually, let's grab our mind runes. I think we had, let's just say 35k because it was quite a bit of those. So let's do a quick price check. So in about 8 hours, I would manage to make 10 mil if we're going by this price guide. So I sold it all at average price of about 10 mil, which is really good, and really was a huge motivator to kind of just get me going and to keep me interested in this. Of course, gains are always a good way to stay interested, so getting good profit was a huge motivator. So I'm going to go ahead and sell this, speed the video up real quick, and then we'll come back with the final cash rewards. So since I am impatient, I did sell some of that a little bit lower. Overall, we lost, what, 90k? But I got the money right away, so for now I'm not too worried about it. So this brings our total cash stack up to 34 mil. So what I'll be doing with this money, and actually I'm going to sell this back, so it's going to go a little bit higher, just because I don't plan on using it too much during Slayer. I plan on training magic different ways, but so I'll have about a 37 mil cash stack, and I'm going to try to use this to do a little bit of merching. Now that's nothing I've been good at or even tried much in the past, but it's something that, you know, I have the cash stack to do it now, so I have a little bit of free money to kind of gradually make up the bank that I'll need in order to afford the Inferno attempts and the gear. So let's just stop that. I'm going to save those runes just because it wasn't too much. So 37 mil. So I'll be devoting a set amount of that to merching, and there might be a separate part of each video to where I kind of look at my profits or losses in terms of merching. It won't be the whole cash stack because some of that's actually going to go towards gear. I want to kind of get a little bit more BIS gear in general. So we'll see how much of that is left after that. But that is kind of our starting cash and our starting gear. We have some mid-tier, in general, some mid-tier stuff. We have Fury, Occult for melee, Mage, and then we have an Archer's Ring. Some other just mid to high tier gear that we'll be starting out with. So another 7 mil is probably what I'll devote to gear, and then maybe 15 to 20 mil in merching. But that is all I have for this video in terms of progress. Now, I do want to kind of end this video and just let you guys know that, again, that the straw poll will be in the description. I haven't completely decided what the activities will be, but there will be one on there just for money making. And if that one's selected, I'll do various money making methods. I'll try to not double up, but I might have to just because I might run out of things to do. But if that one does get selected, I'll just spend a week doing various money making methods and then just show them in a video basically. And then there'll be one just for straight progression, which again, real quick overview of what I plan to do is just train range up to 80 at NMZ and strength up to 90 at NMZ, and then the rest will just be through Slayer. So if you just pick natural progression or progression option, that's what I'll be doing first, and then going on to Slayer from there. And then the other option I haven't decided yet, but I'll put it up there. Again, for the next video, since I will be doing some progression, I'll throw in some stuff to keep the video interesting and put some actual content into that video, and it's not going to just be me AFKing NMZ, but we'll see where that goes. But that is all I have for this video. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll enjoy this series. I don't have a set schedule for when these will come out. It's just on a goal completion basis. So I hope you guys stick around and give me some input on what you'd like to see. That is all I have for this video, guys, though. I hope you did enjoy it, and I will see you next time.